people play with people intelligence the way they play with people intelligence and intellect, you know, the way they do today. You know, people are telling lies for a living. You know what I mean?
You know what's a to me? There's a who pick who he fight with.
Right.
Like if you sit there and you go, oh, I'm not going because this
I
nigga.
won't him, but I'll fuck
Yeah, I think I can take him.
Phony J. Prince just came out, and what he disclosed may be the most outrageous extortion scheme in hip-hop history. Here's how it transpired. J. Prince apparently attempted to perform the check-in or else routine on 50 Cent, but 50 chose not to bow and instead didn't blink. He simply revealed the entire game, saying, "Come get me if you dare." In an instant, the Cold War between Houston street boss and guns turned radioactive. Before it exploded, this beef had been simmering beneath the surface for years, but to
To me, there's a nigga who pick who he fight with.
Right.
Like if you sit there and you go, oh, I'm not going because this
I won't
nigga.
him, but I'll
Yeah, I think I can take him.
Right.
You want to fight the nigga you think you can beat.
truly comprehend how this fire got sparked, Battle had a hardened attitude. The tape was rewinded for us. Rap-A-Lot Records' original creator, J. Prince, is more than simply a name in them. His specialty is street-level shots, and he's the model for them. He moves like a storm, so you don't hear it coming, but when it hits, when Prince talks, people listen, and if you were an artist, you wouldn't need to yell because his name alone is enough to convey messages across town. J. Prince's style of grip involved pulling up in the city without checking in, which was risky for your chain or possibly your safety. However, 50 Cent at 50 was carved from a completely different cloth. He has been riding the single soldier wave since day one and wasn't interested in engaging in street politics with self-proclaimed rulers. There's no check-in, no pleading for...
Like I got out there, they showed me a lot of love. But Shreveport had the infrastructure already here. Like even the tax incentive was put back.
Well, yeah. And so a lot of people have been talking about, man, he's here only because they gave him a cheap deal or something like that. The reality is there's more to that deal than that. Way more.
They can't see.
Break that down.
I'm spending $20 million this year anyway in the same building that they're saying was the cheap building.
Right.
So find somebody else to spend $20 million.
safety, just unadulterated faith in a squad that moves with military accuracy while battling Ja Rule, Irv Gotti, and the entire murder incident in Squad Yes. It is how 50 Cent made his name. He was well known from the start for never giving up, and Unit was more than just a name. It was a militant organization that forbade check-ins, ring kissing, and most definitely. The energy conveyed a message early on that this man wasn't here to play by anyone else's rules. So when rumors began to circulate, approximately 50, perhaps relocating to Houston.
Came to the city of Houston, but he didn't just come here to live. He has been helping out on so many causes in this city. And especially, he has been in our high schools, turning our high school students into entrepreneurs with his Unity Camp program. I've seen him firsthand. This city has been elevated because of his presence, and so today we have the honor of saying to him, he's our 2022 Grand Marshal. Give it up to Curtis 50 Jackson. Now, before I call on him to speak, let me present you first a key to the city of Houston. Anywhere you go, 550 buildings, use the key, the door will swing wide open.
The streets already knew it was a message rather than merely a move, because if 50 Cent appeared in Houston without lowering himself. To J. Prince, that goes beyond simple disrespect. It's a full-fledged power struggle, and you know what happened? The interview lasted from 3-6 to 4-2. At first, it seemed like the Cold War 1950s in New York, with J. Prince, a master chess player, doing what he does best, trolling while the city was being locked down. Before 50 nonchalantly dropped a nuke on Twitter, Houston, like its silent king, took elegant shots from a distance but never walked on each other's blocks. I adore New York, but I now reside in Houston. I'll explain later, but all of a sudden the game shifted, and no, 50 made genuine business decisions. Houston was a strategic move since it had more space, fewer taxes, and a hip-hop scene that was primed to take off. Lined up, New York taxes were draining his wealth. Plus, Houston's booze industry was in dire need of Branson Connect's Southern push 50 years ago. intended to live in Houston and tap straight into the culture, expand his business, and reinvest entertainment profits back into the community. But this is where things went wrong when he neglected to check in J. Prince. He reportedly took that very personal statement to mean that he viewed the 50s as a daring attempt to seize power, akin to attempting to claim a throne without ever squatting on the streets.
Maybe we need to change the word for the youngsters. The checking in part, is they seem to get hung up on that word, checking in.
Yeah.
So if we could diversify that word and bring it up to a 2021 thing.
Right. What's the word, OG? What's the word? Maybe we may want to tell them they need to get connected.
It is a serious indication of disrespect, and when J. Prince feels under pressure, reports that he sent individuals to lean on 50 tried to get him to pay the street level levy for city protection, but 50 nope. He immediately shut that down and informed his staff. Gun rolls with their own muscle, we don't spend money on security. He refused to be treated like a tourist in his own game by anyone. It heated up at that point. J. Prince reportedly retaliated by issuing a no-fly zone order, essentially warning 50.
Stuck on stupid, right?
Yeah.
You're stuck on stupid and you're not using your powers or access to powers that you have. You're looking at it as a negative versus a positive. We all know if you can tap into good people wherever you go.
Wherever, yeah.
But I mean, it's a blessing, really.
Normally, it works on lesser known names, but since this is 50 Cent, he fired up instead of backing down. You're not welcome in Houston now. Using Instagram as his personal battleground, he posted clever comments, jokes, and pointed, subtle digs that made the entire situation seem like a promo for a reality program. He made it clear that his purpose was to build, not to bow, and that he was already setting the foundation for a $20 million unit film and television studio in the center of Houston. This decision might have had a huge impact on jobs, internships, and Houston's entertainment industry, but all of it was lost.
Don't turn me down. What you said? Don't turn me down. What you on, folks?
Don't turn you down.
Yeah, man. What you on, folks?
What you mean what I'm on?
What you on, man? What the deal there? What up?
What up? You want to buy your shit back or what?
You ain't get you flunked out ass little nigga. I'm trying to see where you at. You dumb mother. What you got? $20 out of car?
Nah, nigga. You know what we got, nigga. Stop that cap.
Man. Motherfucker,
nigga, capping, bro. They gonna believe anything.
You want me to start my car? I just took a picture in the same car today with my little boy. You on this like y'all.
And the $20 million project was pulled and sent to Shreveport. Officially, Louisiana 50 stated that it was about improved infrastructure. But if you're truly listening to you, he's no fool, and he wasn't going to play tag with snakes in long grass, so he prepared a list of things that happened in Houston politics. Power moves slid out quietly and continued to build. But this is when the poetry starts. Although Prince attempted to eject him, the city was not impressed and instead celebrated his 50th birthday joyfully. 2022, barely a year after he landed in Houston, the entire atmosphere changed. Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner practically threw 50 Cent a key to them. The man was receiving affection as if he had been born and raised in the city, and November 24th was formally declared 50 Cent Day at the annual Thanksgiving Day Parade. In addition to calling him a rapper, the mayor described him as a humanitarian, an entrepreneur, and someone who genuinely supported.
Called, you know what I mean? Because the little homie young boy place got broke into. People went in his place, disrespected different things, and I got a call about it. And the little homies that went into this place want to make that right because they understand that, you know what I mean, young boy family is okay with me. And as you can see, homie, to make a long story short, I got your keys to your Rolls Royce, I got your keys to your McLaren, you know, all that shit that they took, and the homie, Shakur, what you got, homie?
We got your Rolls Royce umbrellas, we got your keys, we got a bunch of other shit. So.
The crowd went wild as Unity Program 50 helped high school students do routines, but that wasn't the only thing that happened. Foundation 50 began philanthropizing by organizing turkey drives, distributing presents, and contributing to educational institutions. Not only did 50 arrive in Houston, he seized control of the entire. Through his Sire Spirits brand, he made appearances in every major venue in 2023 and partnered with the Houston Rockets, Texans, and Astros. Toys worth $850,000 are available in the community. No promotion is required. After that, in 2024, he auctioned off 2 enormous bottles of his opulent Lamin Duachan Pabe and helped generate $500,000 for the Houston Children's Charity. While 50 was out here stacking wins and giving back like a local legend, J. Prince was reportedly watching from the sidelines as the entire event brought in an incredible $6 million. On the sidelines like a recently deposed monarch.
Hey, I don't want no friends, I don't want no new relationships. All that, hey, I don't respect none of that shit, man. If you got something for me, man, they got plenty around me you could call. Man, nigga, it's plenty ways you can get in touch with me. Man, don't get on no internet and do nothing publicly. Don't do nothing dealing with no publicity, none of that pussy and shit. And I'm good on the keys, gangster. When you buy shit cash, two keys come with the car anyway. Man, you
who had to witness someone else fall in love in front of cameras and broad open. Mayors passing out keys and flashing. Then Tony Yao Unit's loudest soldier appeared on Vlad TV and at last explained to the public why Unit never played the check-in game and revealed that Raw Unit's philosophy was always self-sufficient, military tight circle, and had no tolerance for street politics. That game of check-in Yayo didn't mince words. Instead, he described it as a sophisticated method of setting up rappers for extortion. You check in, you pay up, or you take a chance and run the risk of being robbed. J. Prince's entire business was based on his reputation for shielding artists who come into contact with. He established himself as the king of the H in Houston by instituting the supposedly amicable custom of checking in. It may seem cool, but when you actually take a look at it, it's not protection, it's pressure. This is a street-level swindle masquerading as hospitality. If you're an artist arriving in, the cell is meant to keep you secure. So Houston, you should check in with J. Prince and pay your respects, which actually means pay up. Perhaps make sure you're. If the chain is grabbed, it mysteriously returns, but let's face it, if you don't check in, things start to go awry. Instead of biting his tongue, Yayo brought up Palm Smoke's passing as a sobering reminder.
You're dealing with older people, they're the last to know that things have changed. We not your little niggas. Like, the way you talking, I don't get what you mean. We're not your little niggas. Like, for real, all that big homie stuff, that's for little niggas. Little niggas have big homies. We're not little niggas, so we don't even respect big homies. I know Killer doesn't, and for me, I never respected niggas in the streets. That's why I always got the problems I got.
That when artists rely on street connections or believe they are safe without actual protection, they end themselves in line. To put it simply, Yale warned that these rap alliances aren't real and that when the heat actually strikes, no one will come to your aid. Simply risky their federal bait, Yale stated bluntly, because we're not in the nines anymore talking about mob ties, extortion, and setups. That's how you land in RICO territory. Firearm check-ins, handouts, and street favors weren't interfering with their lives, so they decided to stay dangerous and stick to their own group. This is where things started to become really ugly. It's better to defend yourself than to owe something to a random guy with a secret playbook. NBA Youngboy arrived in Houston for business, but he failed to check in, and chaos ensued as if by clockwork. Got hit shackles and lost money.
Nothing should have happened. What do you say to that?
What I would say to that is, I have a track record, man, and the Prince family have a track record of 30 plus years of, honoring and loving on our guests and being with our guests, and no shit like this never happened. But here's the thing, and this is what people don't understand. We ain't never had nobody to attack us, if you know what I mean. When a man attack a situation with a weapon, then, it become a playing field where, any and every.
Stolen vehicle keys disappearing, and then suddenly J. Prince appears on Instagram as a hero, saying he recovered everything that had been stolen, but rather than managing it behind the scenes like a true original, he struck record and uploaded a video that showed a young boy not having. He responded right away, phoning 60-year-old influencer J. Prince, saying that if it was truly about assistance, he would have answered the phone instead of trying to become viral. And you know who else commented? Cameron and Machi made Jay Prince wonder why he's still attempting to play Kingpin in a bygone period. They claim that if you're still trying to run street games in your 60s, you didn't succeed, you failed, and then they don't extort. Their other dice games? Nothing. According to reports, intimidation is Jay Prince's second favorite hustle. Houston's high-stakes games are notorious for more than simply the money that is exchanged. For years, there has been silent discussion about what actually occurs behind the scenes. People are saying that they are wired to trap rappers, line them up, and the saddest part, take off. Everyone remembers that fateful night when the dice game went awry. One of the most cherished voices in the culture vanished in an instant after uncontrollably fired rounds. But let's discuss what actually transpired since then. Rumors have been circulating, and they aren't simply coming from trolls. According to reports, Jay Prince became enraged when Takeoff and Quo failed to properly check in. When they arrived in Houston, he allegedly gave the order to give them a brief lesson. It wasn't intended to be lethal, only a scare tactic, but unfortunately Jay Prince danced around culpability like a seasoned pro whenever someone brought up the subject after a terrible takeoff that ended in his death. He would evade, stammer, and shift the topic, doing everything but accepting responsibility. He even made a mistake and essentially
And Mike and Junior was walking by. He actually went in the restroom to wash blood off his hand where he had reached up on the Takeoff. He had to pick him up and his fingers went in it. You know why? Blood well.
Additionally, Duke the jeweler, who won $100,000 in a dice game, most likely believed he was merely accomplished the once-in-a-lifetime victory. But before he could return to this horse, he was ambushed, robbed, and slain, taking out another gifted black guy. 50 Cent's actions are consistent with the perverted street code that has been contaminating the culture for too long, over beef, but also over rigged games. One man is out here instilling fear, while the other is developing the community in his 50s, opening centers, providing food for families, awarding scholarships, and leading a legacy. Here's the story twist. Jay Prince continues to use antiquated street electricity as if it were 1995. Word has it that 50 is no longer really trolling. He's been collecting receipts, obtaining concrete proof, spreading the news on the street in interviews 1635 to 1649. 50 Cent's been quietly conversing with others behind the scenes, gathering receipts and accumulating evidence that the entire check-in procedure may be an disguised extortion empire. And if the federal government discovers that, the game is over. This isn't just about Instagram memes anymore.